Hi, this is the Peaceful Prepper, and today I'm going to talk about staying cool in an emergency. And by that, I don't mean staying calm and aware, although that is critical too, but literally staying cool if an emergency is occurring in hot weather. A key element of survival is maintaining a healthy core temperature. You're probably familiar with the rule of threes in terms of survival. 3 minutes without air, 3 hours of an extreme temperature, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. We can't sustain life. So heat stroke can be a life and death issue. There's a lot of important information in first aid guides, websites, and videos about the symptoms and treatments for heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Skinnymedic did a couple of quick tip videos with great information at the beginning of the summer, and I'll try to link them below. The main risk factors for heat-related illnesses are age and health status, but it's something that can impact anyone. According to the Red Cross, people in urban areas are at greater risk from the effects of a prolonged heat wave than people living in rural areas. You may have heard of urban heat island effect, which describes the buildup of heat that cities experience due to the materials that absorb and retain heat like cement and brick, and the level of human activity which also generates heat. So heat stroke is certainly not only an urban issue, but there are particular concerns in urban areas because of that. I want to particularly look at the issue for urban preppers like myself who often don't have as many options as someone in the suburbs or a rural environment. Those of us in apartments don't have the option to go to the basement where it's usually cooler, or even downstairs. I live in an attic apartment, and it's usually at least 5 degrees hotter inside than outside. According to the CDC, we can expect this danger to grow. They say due to global climate change, the world will experience a higher number of heat waves on average, and the intensity and length of these heat waves is projected to increase. So this is really, to me, something that I want to be paying more attention to. When I was researching this online, these are some of the statistics that really struck me, and I wanted to share them. Heat waves kill more people on average than any other extreme weather event, and there are almost 4 times more heat-related deaths than cold-related deaths. I was really struck by that because I've given a lot of thought to what I would do if there was no heat and it was winter, but I had not given a lot of thought to the other side of that equation. So that was surprising to me. Now, those are national averages for the United States, so those numbers don't apply as is to different regions and to different countries, but even as a national average, I was struck by that. In New York City, an annual average of 447 residents were treated in the ER for heat illnesses. Another 152 were hospitalized, and another 13 people died, and that's an average for every year. I believe that study was done over maybe 2000 to 2011. But that's a lot of people being impacted by this under normal circumstances. And then in Arizona, 3 to 7 times more people die of heat illnesses than in the US overall. So certainly the areas that you would expect that are very hot are particularly susceptible to this. I'm going to link below some of the websites where I found these stats if you're interested in looking at them more. These tips are taken from a New York City brochure called Beat the Heat. If you're unfamiliar with recommendations about how to manage in a heat wave, it's really worth taking a look at these. I'm not going to go through each one, but pause the video, read them, think about how they might apply to you. So here's the question that I've been asking myself. Suppose another type of emergency happens during a heat wave. You don't have any power, you don't have any municipal water, you need to stay inside. Perhaps there's been a chemical spill, in which case you need to close yourself up, maybe in a small area, and seal yourself off for a few hours. Or maybe the high temperatures are going on for an extended period, 6 days, 7 days, more than a week. What do I want to do to prepare to help myself deal with those circumstances the best I can? So regularly during the summer, I pull down window shades in the morning to reduce the solar gain. I open windows at night if it's cooler outside to allow the hot air out and the cooler air in, although in a bug out situation that may not be safe to do. And trying to stay low as heat rises, even though I'm in an attic apartment. I'd always noticed that my cats from probably June, certainly through August, would never sleep on chairs or sofa or the bed anymore. They'd just be lying flat on the floor to stay cool. Without electricity, I wanted to think of things that could replace the air conditioner that I keep in my bedroom, the cold drinks and ice that I have available whenever I want. And the things that I thought would be helpful was a hand fan, a battery-powered fan, using evaporative cooling by getting a towel wet and laying it on you to help the evaporation cool your body, and the first aid ice packs that you shake to make them cool rather than needing to be in the freezer. These are the 4 items that I think would be very useful if I'm bugging in during a heat wave. Now the most low-tech, although most ornate, I got this at a wedding several years ago, is just a hand fan. And it produces a nice breeze. It really does work quite a bit better than taking a magazine or a piece of paper. And it's also very, very light. This is actually something that I have in my bug out bag because it's very compact and lightweight to sort of keep cool in uncomfortable heat. The next thing I have is a cooling towel. Now this is one of the synthetic towels that I'm testing and going to be putting it up in my next video. This is called the Arctic Chill Towel, and this one did very well in the testing. The other, any towel with water can be used for evaporative cooling. Just drench it in water, wring it out a little bit, and it will help reduce your body temperature. The next item is this instant cold compress that you find in a lot of first aid kits. And this, if you crush it and shake it, it provides cooling. So this is the strongest one to actually bring a colder temperature. The towel does somewhat, but this is actually like putting ice on your body. And I have one of these in my car first aid kit and in my bug out first aid kit, but I never included them at home because I thought, well, I have ice, I have frozen peas. Those are the kinds of things that I use if I need a cold compress normally. But as I've been thinking about heat waves and bugging in and how to deal with a heat wave when you don't have access to power, this seems like an even more important item. This is the last item. It's a battery-operated fan. It comes with an AC adapter as well, so you don't have to be using batteries and you could use it under any circumstances. The one I have is O2 Cool. I've never used one of these before and I have no idea about this brand compared to others. This seems to work very well. I've been using it quite a bit this past week. It has 2 settings, and I'm not sure anything's going to show up. This is the high setting, which feels very good actually as I'm standing right here. And the low setting, I'm sure that there's no impact on the video with that. It adjusts, you see that, to all different levels. Although it doesn't go far, it doesn't go down. So if you had it up high, you couldn't tilt it down on you. And you undo, I think you can see, there are 2 knobs here that you turn just 15 degrees, 45 degrees, sorry, and you put 8 D-size batteries in them. So it's a lot of batteries. So this is the O2 Cool by Design fan. They come in different sizes. This is the 10-inch fan, but I'm sure online you can find all kinds of battery-operated fans of all different sizes. If you haven't already been thinking about how to prevent heat-related illnesses during an emergency, I hope this encouraged you to think more about it. During a heat wave, you need more water to stay hydrated, and as I mentioned in my water storage video, it can be really difficult to find the space to store enough water in an apartment. So I've been wondering if the synthetic cooling towels provide more cooling for less water than a regular towel, or maybe a bandana. So my next video is going to be product testing cooling towels. I hope you'll join me for that. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, comment. I really appreciate feedback.